After 16 years of playing the classical guitar, making recordings, touring with groups, playing concerts, I've encountered quite a lot of misconceptions about this instrument and how it's played. So in today's video, I thought it'd be fun to debunk some common classical guitar myths. Quick disclaimer, these are of course my opinions. I do believe they're grounded in historical fact, most of them, but if you disagree, let me know why in the comments. Also, if I missed some, add them to the comments. Myth number 1, you have to play with nails. Today, the common belief is that to play classical guitar, you have to grow the fingernails long on your plucking hand, usually your right hand, to pluck the strings. However, this wasn't always the case. The pioneering composers of the 19th century who wrote the guitar's main repertoire and developed this technique, like Sor, Carcasi, Tárrega, and many others, did not play with nails. Now, of course, at the same time, other players did play with nails. They're both historically valid. But if you talk to most classical guitarists today, they'll say things like, well, if you want to be a serious classical guitarist, you have to play with nails. Well, I don't have nails and I'm a pretty serious classical guitarist, so not true. For more on this subject, check out this video I made. Myth number 2, you need nails to play tremolo. Now, even among those who've accepted that playing with or without nails are both historically valid, it's often believed that to play tremolo, you do need nails. Tremolo is this really fascinating technique on the classical guitar where you rapidly play 4 fingers in succession, and it makes a really cool kind of effect on the guitar. Now, right now I'm playing without nails. Sometimes I play with nails, sometimes I play without. I do think it's a different sound. With nails, it's a bit more of a da-da-da-da-da-da, a bit more percussive, a bit more machine gun-like. Without nails, it's a bit more brushy. But let's remember a very important historical fact. Tárrega himself, who wrote the most famous tremolo piece, Recuerdos de la Alhambra, you can check out my performance of that piece here. Tárrega didn't play with nails at the end of his life, and he was a big proponent of playing without nails. He thought there was a magic to it that you couldn't get with nails. So, since the man himself, Tárrega, did it, and I'm doing it right now, can play tremolo without nails, clearly it is possible. Myth number 3, you need big hands to play guitar well. The classical guitar is well known for being extremely technically demanding. And one of the differences of the actual instrument when compared to like a steel string acoustic guitar is that the strings are wider. The neck is wider and the strings are farther apart and the neck is a bit thicker, which makes it very hard to do things like put your thumb on top of the neck. So when students are learning, very often they come to the conclusion that you must need very big hands to play the classical guitar. But I think we can really safely debunk this myth. In my experience, I've encountered guitarists with fingers that are so much shorter than mine, so much longer than mine, so much thinner than mine, so much wider than mine. Every person has their own personal anatomy, and we're all so quick to blame our anatomy when things aren't going right technically on an instrument. Before you blame your anatomy, blame technique. It's almost always your technique. Segovia's hands were huge, and like one of his fingers was like 3 of mine. So how did he fit it into these upper frets here? I mean, that must have been challenging for him. The point is, no matter what size and shape fingers you have, I've seen guitarists excel so well and play better than me with different size hands than me. So don't blame your anatomy, fix your technique. And by the way, we live in a good time now where you can buy really good guitars at different sizes. So if you are on the shorter side and you do want a smaller guitar, get one. The standard classical guitar scale from here to here is 65 centimeters. Now they make a lot of them that are 64 centimeters. This guitar, this is a Torres replica, it is 64 centimeters. You can get one that's even shorter than that if you want. You can get a 7/8 guitar. If you're buying for a 11-year-old, you can get a 3/4 size guitar or even a half size guitar. So play a guitar that's right for you and fix your technique before you blame your anatomy. Myth number 4, you need strong fingers to play the guitar. Very often in my lessons with students, they'll say things like, oh, I don't have enough strength. I need to build more muscle to play this well. This one applies to all guitarists. One of the worst devices I've ever seen is this finger grip strengthener that you can buy online with springs designed to, I don't know, like make little biceps, you know, on your fingers, as if we wanted muscular fingers. You don't want muscular fingers. We don't play the guitar well because we're muscular. Beginners don't have weak muscles, and advanced players having super ripped fingers. Instead, it's all about technique. It's how you use your fingers. Learning to use economy of motion. Very often at the beginning, we're using the wrong muscles or too many muscles. We're gripping in the wrong way, and therefore we can't get the right notes down. So you're playing your F major bar chord that all guitarists find difficult when they first come to the guitar, and it sounds like this. They can't get the notes to sound. It's not because you're too weak. You're not allocating pressure in the right way. If you use gravity, the weight of the world, and you hang your arm from the guitar, the bar takes care of itself. You're actually using less muscles. So please don't buy these silly finger strengthening things. They probably actually hurt you more than they help you. By the way, if you need help with your bar chords, recently one of our teachers at my online music school did a full workshop on the subject. So check out this video here. It's in the link in the description if you want to improve your bar chords. Myth number 5. You need to tune to A equals 440 Hertz. Today, pitch has become standardized. So when we say play me this A, it usually means an A at 440 Hertz. I think it's that A. And orchestras tune to it most of the time. And if you go to an electronic keyboard or a guitar tuner, everything is calibrated around that idea. But it's important to know that for most of history, pitch was relative. So what you called an A could vary quite a lot. Depending on where and when you were, this A could have sounded like this, or this, or this, or this, or this. There's quite a bit of a spectrum here within at least a major third that all could have been called A depending on where and when you were. So you might say, so what? Now we have a good calculated A, let's just use that. Well, the reason I say this is because I would encourage people to experiment with the pitch of their instruments, with their guitars in general, for example. Experiment with lowering the pitch. I find that with specific strings and specific guitars, if you lower the tuning to say 415 Hertz or everything tuned down a half step, not only is it nice because you have a lot less tension on the strings, the guitar has a warmer sound, and you might find something in between there where the guitar actually sounds wonderful. Maybe your guitar sounds best at 419 Hertz. I don't know, have you tried? If you only ever tune your guitar at a 440 Hertz, you might be missing something. So I would recommend experimenting with the pitch. Today's video is brought to you by Classical Guitar Pro. That's my brand new online classical guitar course, which is 6 hours, 53 videos. It's a whole curriculum designed to teach you what you would normally learn in the first 6 months to a year of classical guitar lessons. So if you want to learn classical guitar but are stuck, struggling reading music or struggling to learn the techniques, check out classicalguitar-pro.com to learn more. Myth number 6. Louder guitars are better. In my many conversations with luthiers and guitarists, one thing seems clear. The best guitars are very loud guitars. And the general trend of guitar building today is to make guitars which are as loud as possible. And it makes sense why they're doing this. Players are playing in bigger and bigger halls, sometimes giant orchestra halls that are meant for 60-person orchestras. And rather than amplify, they want a super loud and resonant instrument. So the guitars end up being very overbuilt, heavy. People end up using super high tension strings, and the guitars are even made for it. So these things are just cannons, you know? The reason I'm calling this one a myth, I'm saying that the idea that louder guitars are better is a myth, is because historically guitars are not this cannon. They're not this percussive thing that plays at you. It's a seductive, charming, romantic instrument that pulls you into its world. I think we lose so much of the charm of the instrument when we try to make it louder and louder with higher and higher tension strings. I've played so many modern guitars today where the strings are so high tension and the instruments are made for it so that slurs become impossible. Vibrato doesn't even work on the instrument. And this means that all of those beautiful, elegant, light, slurred passages in classical guitar music become heavy. The beauty of passages like that are how easy it sounds, how graceful it is. The other important historical fact here is that guitars were never designed to play in giant orchestra halls with 3,000 person audiences. The guitar is an instrument made for and perfectly suited to play in salon-style music. This means small recitals for maybe a room full of 20 people, and if everyone started talking, you wouldn't be able to hear it. And in my experience, when I perform concerts, often I push the audience. I play softer and softer. How softly can I actually take the music down? And what I've noticed is people kind of lean in, and you can hear a pin drop. Those are the most beautiful moments for me. Myth number 7. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Of course, this tip applies to all musicians, but Classical guitarists have a lot of demanding music to learn, a lot of challenging techniques, and so we have to practice a lot. Be forewarned, more practice isn't good. Good quality practice is good. But you can certainly practice in a way for hours and hours and hours that makes you worse. Why is that? The reason is because muscle memory is a double-edged sword. You need it to play very complicated things. Fast passages like that one require a lot of repetition of the same movement. But if you practice the wrong things repeatedly, which so many of us do, your hands will memorize those mistakes forever. Your fingers don't know the difference between the things you wanted and the things you don't. It just knows repetition. So practice slowly, accurately, and efficiently. Show your hands only the things you want them to repeat, and then do that a lot. So no, more practice doesn't make you a better player. If you're not careful, it can make you worse. What you really want is quality practice. And the last thing I'll say about this one is actually there is a point, especially as we get older, where the more you practice, you have to be careful because tension in your body can lead to fatigue and inflammation, can lead to chronic injuries. Quality is always better than quantity. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I want to say that the topics covered in this video are my own opinions, and I am very open-minded. If you disagree with me, let me know why. I'd be very curious to know where I might be going wrong. These are all just my feelings based on what I've read, researched, and played. So let's get a conversation going in the comment section. What other myths are there about the classical guitar that might need debunking, if any? So please do subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. You can also check out my Patreon page, directly support the creation of more videos like this in the future. And I hope to see you all next time.